Top 4 Best Snacks that support kidney health and help your body eliminate waste naturally. Have you ever looked at the snacks in your kitchen and wondered if they are actually helping your body or quietly making things worse? Most people never think about their kidneys until something goes wrong, and that is exactly why kidney problems can become so dangerous. Your kidneys do not usually scream for help in the beginning. They do not send loud warnings. They do not always cause pain right away. Instead, they work silently in the background every hour of every day, filtering your blood, balancing fluids, removing waste, supporting healthy blood pressure, and helping your body stay alive and stable. That is what makes this topic so important. Because while your kidneys are doing all of that work for you every single day, your everyday food choices can either support them or slowly increase their burden. And here is the part most people do not realize. Some of the most common snack habits can place extra stress on the kidneys over time. Too much sodium, too much processed food, too many additives, too much sugar, and too many animal-based snack foods can create the kind of daily strain that your body may tolerate for a while, until one day it cannot. But there is good news. You do not need a complicated cleanse. You do not need a shelf full of expensive supplements. You do not need some extreme diet that is impossible to follow. Sometimes, the smartest changes are the simplest ones. In this video, we are going to talk about 4 snacks that can fit into a kidney-supportive lifestyle, help reduce unnecessary dietary burden, and make it easier for your body to do what it is already designed to do: remove waste naturally and maintain internal balance. And no, these are not weird, rare, overpriced health foods. These are simple snacks. Real foods. Easy to find, easy to prepare, easy to enjoy. But before we begin, let me say one important thing clearly. No snack can cure kidney disease, and no food can magically save your kidneys overnight. If you already have kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, or have been told to limit potassium, phosphorus, protein, or sodium, always follow the plan your doctor gives you. If I mention a doctor in this script, the name is Dr. Jessica. And if you have an existing kidney condition, it is always wise to check with Dr. Jessica or your own healthcare provider before making major changes to your diet. Now, with that said, if your goal is to make smarter snack choices that are gentler on the kidneys and better for your overall health, these 4 options are worth knowing. And make sure you stay until the end, because snack number 3 is the one that surprises almost everyone. Most people never connect it to kidney health at all, yet when prepared correctly, it can be one of the smartest choices on this list. Let us start with snack number 1. Snack number 1, air-popped popcorn. Yes, popcorn. But not the buttery movie theater kind. Not the microwave kind loaded with salt, oils, flavoring powders, and artificial ingredients. And definitely not the kind drenched in cheese dust. We are talking about plain air-popped popcorn. That distinction matters more than most people think. A lot of people hear the word popcorn and instantly place it in the junk food category. But plain air-popped popcorn is actually very different from processed popcorn products. When it is prepared the right way, it can be a light, whole-grain snack that gives you crunch, satisfaction, and fiber, without piling on ingredients that your kidneys have to work harder to handle. Here is why it can be helpful. First, popcorn is a whole grain. Whole grains generally digest more slowly than ultra-refined snack foods, which can help support steadier energy and better blood sugar control when compared with sugary, highly processed snacks. That matters because unstable blood sugar over time can damage blood vessels, including the tiny blood vessels in the kidneys. Second, plain air-popped popcorn is naturally low in sodium, as long as you keep it plain. And sodium is one of the biggest dietary concerns when it comes to kidney and blood pressure health. The more sodium you eat, the more fluid your body tends to hold on to, and the more pressure can be placed on the cardiovascular system. Since the kidneys help regulate sodium and fluid balance, high sodium diets can create extra work for them. Third, it is plant-based and naturally low in saturated fat. That does not mean all animal foods are bad, but it does mean that swapping out heavily processed meat snacks or salty cheese snacks for a simple whole grain option can reduce dietary load in a meaningful way. And there is another benefit people often overlook. Popcorn can satisfy the need for something crunchy and comforting. That matters, because one of the hardest parts of eating healthier is not knowledge. it is replacing habits. If a snack feels satisfying, you are much more likely to stick with it. Now here is the important part: preparation. If you want popcorn to support your kidneys rather than stress them, keep it simple. Use an air popper if you have one. If not, you can use plain kernels in a brown paper bag in the microwave, without butter and without oil. Once it is popped, skip the heavy salt, skip the powdered cheese, skip the butter-flavored topping. Instead, if you want flavor, try a very light dusting of herbs and spices, such as oregano, rosemary, garlic powder without added salt, smoked paprika, or a little cinnamon if you like a warm flavor profile. You can also add a tiny amount of olive oil spray if needed, just for seasoning to stick, but the goal is to keep it light. A small bowl as a snack a few times a week can be a very smart swap, especially if it replaces chips, crackers, or processed snack mixes that are high in sodium and additives. And let me be honest, plain popcorn may taste simple at first if your taste buds are used to highly salted foods. But something amazing happens when you lower your salt intake for a while. Your palate begins to reset. Foods that once seemed too plain start tasting natural again. And foods that used to taste normal suddenly feel too salty. That is the hidden power of making better snack choices consistently. You are not just changing your diet, you are retraining your cravings. So if you want a snack that is affordable, easy to prepare, gentle on the kidneys when made correctly, and surprisingly satisfying, air-popped popcorn deserves a place on the list. Now let us move to snack number 2, and this one is creamy, filling, and much more powerful than people expect. Snack number 2, plain hummus with fresh vegetables. If you have never thought of hummus as a kidney-supportive snack, you are not alone. Most people think of hummus as just a dip, something you grab at a party, something you spread on a sandwich, something healthy-looking in the refrigerator aisle. But when you break down what hummus is made of, it starts to make a lot more sense why it can be a smart choice. At its core, hummus is usually made from chickpeas, tahini, lemon, and seasonings. And chickpeas bring something valuable to the table. They are a plant-based source of protein and fiber. Why does that matter? Because many common snack foods are built around processed meats, salty cheeses, refined flour, and artificial ingredients. In contrast, hummus, especially a simple, lower-sodium version, offers a more balanced option that can help you feel full without leaning on heavily processed snack ingredients. Fiber is one of the big reasons. Fiber supports digestive health, helps with satiety, and may help slow the absorption of carbohydrates. That can support better blood sugar balance, which is important for long-term kidney health. Chickpeas also provide a more gradual kind of energy compared with sweets or refined snack foods that send your blood sugar up fast and then crashing down later. Another reason hummus stands out is that it can help people move away from snack habits that quietly create more strain over time. Think about typical grab-and-go snacks: deli meats, cheese crackers, flavored chips, processed dips, meat sticks, instant noodles, packaged pastries. Many of these are loaded with sodium and preservatives. Hummus, when chosen carefully, can be a much better alternative. But notice I said when chosen carefully, because not every hummus container at the store is created equal. Some store-bought hummus products are surprisingly high in sodium. Some include unnecessary additives. Some are made with more oil than needed. So if you are using hummus as part of a kidney-friendlier routine, read the label. Look for a plain variety with lower sodium and simple ingredients. Even better, you can make it at home. A basic homemade hummus can be made with no added salt or very little salt, depending on your needs. Blend chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, garlic if tolerated, and a small amount of water or olive oil until smooth. That gives you more control over exactly what goes in. Now let us talk about what to eat with it, because that matters too. If you scoop hummus with salted pita chips, flavored crackers, or processed snack breads, you may be canceling out some of the benefit. A smarter move is to pair it with fresh vegetables, such as cucumber slices, celery sticks, carrot sticks, bell pepper strips, or radish slices. These options add volume, crunch, hydration, and nutrients without a lot of sodium. That combination, plain hummus plus fresh vegetables, can be incredibly satisfying. You get creaminess, crunch, fiber, and enough substance to actually hold you over between meals. And there is a practical advantage here too. This snack feels more substantial than many healthy snacks. It is not just a symbolic bite of something. It can genuinely help reduce the urge to wander back into the kitchen looking for cookies, chips, or processed snack foods an hour later. Now, a quick note of caution. Depending on an individual's kidney condition, some people may need to monitor foods containing potassium or phosphorus more closely. That is why personalized guidance matters. If you have been given specific nutrition limits by Dr. Jessica or your own clinician, follow those first. But for many people trying to build a more kidney-conscious pattern of eating, plain hummus with fresh vegetables is a smart and practical option. It is simple, it is flexible, it feels like real food, and most importantly, it helps you move away from the kind of snack choices that pile on unnecessary sodium and processed ingredients. So if snack number 1 gives you crunch, snack number 2 gives you something creamy and filling. And now we come to snack number 3, the one that surprises almost everybody. Snack number 3, homemade oatmeal cookies made the right way. Yes, cookies. But before you roll your eyes, stay with me. Because this is where many people get confused. Most cookies sold in stores are absolutely not doing your kidneys any favors. They are often packed with refined flour, added sugars, processed fats, sodium, artificial flavors, and long ingredient lists that turn a simple treat into a heavily processed food product. That is not what we are talking about. We are talking about a simple homemade oatmeal cookie, built from basic ingredients and made in a way that is far gentler on the body than the average dessert snack. Why oatmeal? Because oats bring something very valuable, soluble fiber, especially a type called beta-glucan. Soluble fiber can help support steadier blood sugar, improve fullness, and support heart health. And heart health matters deeply when we talk about kidney health, because the heart and kidneys are closely connected. What stresses one often affects the other. Many people focus on the kidneys only as filters, but the bigger picture matters. Blood pressure, blood sugar, inflammation, and overall dietary quality all influence kidney function over time. So when a snack helps support a healthier metabolic pattern, that matters. Oats can be part of that. Now here is the reason this snack works so well in real life. It helps bridge the gap between healthy and enjoyable. A lot of people fail with healthy eating because every recommended snack feels too plain, too cold, too restrictive, or too disconnected from real cravings. But a thoughtfully made oatmeal cookie can feel warm, comforting, slightly sweet, and genuinely satisfying, without becoming a sugar bomb. Here is how to make it better. Use rolled oats as the base. Add mashed ripe banana or unsweetened applesauce for natural sweetness and moisture. Add cinnamon for flavor. If appropriate for your needs, you can include a small amount of chopped unsalted walnuts for texture and healthy fats. You can even add vanilla for extra flavor. What do you avoid? Avoid loading it with white sugar. Avoid lots of butter. Avoid packaged frosting. Avoid high-sodium baking mixes. Avoid turning it into a dessert disguised as health food. The goal is not to make a bakery cookie. The goal is to make a smarter snack. These kinds of oatmeal cookies are not meant to replace vegetables or become an unlimited health food. They are simply a more balanced alternative when you want something baked, soft, and a little sweet. And let us be honest, that matters emotionally too. Because if every healthy eating plan makes a person feel deprived, it usually does not last. But when you include smarter versions of foods people already enjoy, the plan becomes sustainable. That is a huge improvement. Now, do not misunderstand me. If you eat 10 oatmeal cookies in one sitting, that is no longer a smart snack. Portion still matters. 2 or 3 small homemade cookies a few times a week is very different from constant grazing. That is really the lesson here. Context matters. A kidney-supportive lifestyle is not built on one miracle food. It is built on repeated decisions that reduce excess sodium, excess sugar, excess processing, excess additives, and excess dietary burden. A homemade oatmeal cookie fits beautifully into that idea because it gives you comfort without as much damage. And there is one more hidden advantage. When you make these yourself, you become more aware of ingredients. You stop outsourcing every choice to food manufacturers. You learn how much sweetness you actually need. You notice how much salt is in packaged foods. You become more intentional. That awareness alone can improve the quality of your overall diet. So yes, snack number 3 is a surprise. But when prepared the right way, a homemade oatmeal cookie can absolutely be a smarter option than many processed snacks people think are harmless. Now let us move to snack number 4. This one is probably the simplest on the list, maybe even the most underestimated. And that simplicity is exactly why it deserves attention. Snack number 4, plain puffed rice cakes. Puffed rice cakes are one of those foods people either ignore completely or think of as boring diet food. But boring is not always bad. In fact, when it comes to kidney-supportive snacking, boring can sometimes be a strength. Because many snack foods create problems precisely because they are overloaded, with salt, flavor powders, preservatives, phosphorus additives, sugar coatings, processed fats, and ingredients designed to keep you eating without noticing how much you have had. Rice cakes, when you choose the plain kind, are almost the opposite of that. They are light, they are simple, they are easy to portion, and they do not bombard the body with a long list of extras. That matters, especially for people trying to reduce overall dietary burden. One of the best ways to think about kidney-friendly eating is this. Every day, your kidneys already have an enormous job to do. They do not need extra work from unnecessary ingredients. So when a snack gives you texture and satisfaction without loading you up with sodium and processed additives, that can be genuinely useful. Plain puffed rice cakes can work well because they are easy to keep simple. You can eat them on their own, or you can use them as a base for better toppings. For example, a thin spread of plain hummus on a rice cake can turn it into a more filling snack. Add a few cucumber slices on top and suddenly you have crunch, moisture, and flavor without needing a salty processed topping. Another option for some people is a very thin spread of unsalted nut butter, depending on individual dietary needs and portion control. The key word is thin. Rice cakes can become unhealthy fast when they turn into delivery systems for heavily salted, sugary, or processed toppings. So what should you avoid on top of rice cakes? Avoid processed cheese spreads. Avoid deli meats. Avoid salty packaged tuna mixes. Avoid flavored cream cheeses. Avoid sugary chocolate spreads. Avoid anything heavily processed that defeats the purpose of choosing a simple base in the first place. Rice cakes are helpful because they create a pause, a reset, a lower load option in a world full of high-load snack foods. And for many people, that is exactly what the kidneys need more often. Not a miracle food, but fewer dietary assaults. Now, if you are someone who says, I tried rice cakes once, and they tasted like cardboard, I understand. But again, taste adapts. How you use them matters. Pairing them with fresh, simple toppings makes a big difference, so does not expecting them to taste like chips. They are not supposed to be a copy of junk food, they are supposed to be a clean, practical replacement. That is why they are underrated. Because plain rice cakes are not exciting in the way processed snacks are designed to be. But they can help create a more stable, lower sodium snacking pattern, and that is valuable. So now we have all 4 snacks. Air-popped popcorn, plain hummus with fresh vegetables, homemade oatmeal cookies made the right way, and plain puffed rice cakes. But now let us answer the question most people are actually thinking. How do you use these in real life? A simple weekly routine you can actually follow. This is where healthy advice usually falls apart. People hear good information, they agree with it, they feel motivated for 10 minutes, and then real life happens. So let us make this practical. You do not need to eat all 4 snacks every single day. You do not need to follow a perfect plan. You just need a repeatable system that makes better choices easier. Here is one simple example. On one day, your mid-morning snack could be a small bowl of plain air-popped popcorn. On another day, your afternoon snack could be plain hummus with cucumber and carrot sticks. Later in the week, when you want something slightly sweet after dinner, you could have 2 small homemade oatmeal cookies with a cup of tea. And on your busiest day, when you need something fast, plain rice cakes with a thin layer of hummus can save you from reaching for chips or packaged crackers. That is the real value here. These snacks are not just healthy foods. They are replacements. They help crowd out foods that are far more likely to increase sodium intake, promote overeating, or rely on heavy processing. And that is often how health improves, not by adding one miracle ingredient, but by consistently replacing worse habits with better ones. Here is another important tip. prepare before you are hungry. If your vegetables are washed and cut, hummus is ready, popcorn kernels are on hand, and oatmeal cookies are already baked, you are much more likely to make the good choice. If the healthy option requires 20 minutes, and the unhealthy option requires opening a bag, guess which one wins when you are tired? Convenience matters. So make the better choice the easier choice. You can portion popcorn into containers, slice vegetables in advance, keep plain rice cakes visible, freeze oatmeal cookies in small batches, and take out only what you need. These tiny systems reduce friction, and reducing friction is one of the most powerful things you can do if you want a new habit to last. What to avoid if you truly want to support your kidneys? Now that we have covered the best snacks, we also need to talk briefly about the ones that quietly cause problems. Because sometimes knowing what to reduce is just as important as knowing what to add. If you are serious about supporting your kidneys, be careful with heavily salted chips and crackers, processed meats, like jerky and deli snack packs, instant noodles and flavored cups, processed cheese snacks, packaged pastries and sugary snack cakes, snack foods with long ingredient lists, and phosphate additives, sweet drinks, and high-sugar desserts consumed regularly. These foods often combine sodium, sugar, additives, and refined ingredients in ways that make them hard on the body over time. Again, this is not about fear, it is about awareness. Your kidneys are resilient, they work hard, they can tolerate a lot. But they are not invincible. And when you support them day after day with better choices, you are giving your body a real advantage. A final message about flushing toxins. Before we close, I want to make one thing very clear because it is important. People love the phrase, flush out toxins, but your body already has systems for that. Your kidneys, liver, lungs, digestive tract, and skin are doing this work all the time. The goal is not to force some dramatic detox. The goal is to stop overloading the systems that already protect you. That is the smarter way to think about it. Not panic, not gimmicks, not miracle cures. Support. Hydrate appropriately. Manage blood pressure. Keep blood sugar in a healthier range. Reduce excess sodium. Choose less processed foods more often. And snack in a way that does not pile on unnecessary burden. That is where these 4 snacks come in. They are not magic. They are not treatment, but they are practical, realistic, supportive choices. And those kinds of choices add up. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Your kidneys are working for you every minute of every day. The least you can do is stop making their job harder. Choose snacks that are simpler. Choose snacks that are lower in sodium. Choose snacks that are less processed. Choose snacks that help you stay satisfied without creating extra strain. That is how real change begins. Now I want to ask you, which of these 4 snacks would you actually try first? Would it be the air-popped popcorn, the hummus with vegetables, the homemade oatmeal cookies, or the plain rice cakes? Write it in the comments. And if this video helped you see everyday food in a new way, share it with someone you care about. Someone who snacks every day and may never have realized how much those habits matter. And if you want more simple, research-aware health content, explained in a way that is practical and easy to follow, make sure you subscribe. Because small habits may look small, but over time, they can protect something very big. Take care of yourself.